Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Come on in, my darlings. I know it's been a while. It's been a while. Do me a favor, put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Hey, girl, why are you saying good evening? Why are you saying good evening? I keep forgetting, I'm on the West Coast. So, it's almost 6 o'clock for some of you all. I keep forgetting that. I'm so sorry. It's only 2:40 here. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Come on in, my darlings. Happy Death Cult Revival Weekend. Happy Death Cult Revival Weekend for those of you who believe and participate in the death cult, in the blood and gore and cannibalistic death cult. Happy Death Cult Revival Weekend for y'all. Mm-hmm. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, Sleepy B. So to my people who live in California, especially Sleepy B, I am so happy that it is loquat season. It's loquat season, and we have been eating all of the loquats off of the tree. They are delicious. They are full of fiber, and they will send you to the bathroom. But loquats are delicious, and I am happy to partake of the loquats. Okay, it's one cat. Empress, yes, yes, yes. Miss Tree Moon, hey girl. You said 4:30 where you are? 5:40. Yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock. Oh, you listening while looking for KK's junior prom? Yes, yes, yes. So happy for her. Hey y'all. 4:20. You say you don't do that? Yes, honey. It is loquat season, and I am so happy. Loquats. Listen, we took, just take the pot that you boil rice in, whatever size is the pot that you make rice in, and we took that pot and we went out to that tree out here in the backyard, that loquat tree. And when I tell you, my husband, because Mr. Hoodoo was tall, he just pulled that branch down, and we picked probably about 30 loquats off that tree. Took them in the house, put them in the kitchen sink, rinsed them, scrubbed them, washed them off, put them in the fridge. Let me tell you something. Loquats are amazing, absolutely amazing. So it's time for us to get some more, but it's loquat season. As soon as the fig tree is ready, we will be making fig jam. As soon as the figs are on that tree, we're going to pluck them and make fig jam ourselves. So just a little bit of homesteading going on over here. Yeah, they bloom, and they lovely and delicious, y'all. They lovely and delicious. How are y'all doing? I know I haven't been live in so long. I haven't been live in so long. I've been busy. I've been working on things. You know, um, Busy and working on things on the back end. But I was just like, let me come holler at y'all real quick while I have time. While I have some time. But yes, 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 yes. It has been interesting in these social media streets, but right now, everybody, who practices the death cult, the blood and cannibalistic cult, they getting ready to go be fake tomorrow. They are getting ready to go and be fake tomorrow, because I asked a question. I was just like, which part of that Bible, you know, which rabbit in what book of the Bible um laid eggs? So, with these Easter eggs. So, no one could answer me. So, um, no one gave me an answer. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Like I said, they couldn't tell me which book out of that Bible, had the rabbit that was laying eggs. So, no one could tell me. But it just is what it is. I'm just mad that like all the stores and stuff are gonna be closed tomorrow. So if you want to get you some groceries or something, you better go today, because everything gonna be closed tomorrow. Everything gonna be closed tomorrow. Positive Queen on purpose. Hey, girl. We celebrating the Easter pig over here. It brings ham biscuits. Yes. Yeah, I love ham and I love biscuits. And it's been so long since I've had a bit. I can't tell you the last time I had a biscuit. Wait a minute. Yes, I can. The last time I had a biscuit was for my birthday when we went to Texas de Brazil in Vegas. And I had the little cheesy biscuits that they serve in the Brazilian steakhouses. That was the last biscuit I had. So, but before that, I haven't had a biscuit in so long. A rabbit is not a reptile, so it can't lay eggs. I mean, but I just want to know where the eggs came from. Where did those eggs come from? Okay, because they finna be out here amen and tomorrow, and they can't tell me where the eggs came from and which animal it came from. They can't tell. They can't tell me that. But another thing, with that is that if it's eggs, the women of the species have eggs. So are they saying that they're aligning birth with their god? So is their god a woman? Their god has to be a woman because they're aligning the eggs that come from women to this whole thing. I be confused sometimes, but it just is what it is. Right. That's what I'm saying. They talk about the fertility. That's women. Women have eggs. It's women. Right? Women. Okay, women. So I mean, technically there's listen, I don't know. I don't know. But it's all confusing. That they'll be back to cussing you out on Monday. They will be back to cussing you out on Monday. They're gonna go and pretend tomorrow. But they'll be back to cussing you out on Monday. They'll be back to cussing you out on Monday. You know, um, they gotta go pretend and be fake tomorrow. Hey girl, how you doing? Yeah. So, I was thinking about this. I didn't know if I wanted to review this video with you all because there was a video that came across my timeline in which someone was asking if Christianity was a death cult. And I was just like, "Oh, that might be something good for us to review together." I haven't watched it. The video is only like 20 minutes. But I don't know. Do y'all want to review that real quick? Or do y'all just want to chat and chill? Or do y'all just want to chat and chill? Y'all gotta let me know. Because I haven't been live with y'all for so long. I haven't been live with y'all for so long. And then, Beyonce has graced us with her birth certificate. Okay, so we now have the official time of birth for Beyonce. Beyonce has a night chart. So I will be going over Beyonce's chart. I will delineate her chart myself and I will be going over that. I don't know if it's going to be live or pre-record, but I'll be doing that as well. So, we got her whole we got it all now. Birthday and time. So now we can concoct a true and exact chart for one Miss Beyonce. So, so I can't wait to look into that. I actually have her chart. I've already saved it in the astrology software. I have not delineated it. I have not gone over it yet. Um, but I will. But I will. I will. I will tell you that she has this huge seventh house stellium. She has a massive seventh house stellium. So that's going to be interesting. Interesting to see. I just looked at it real quick. Okay, so yeah, let me pull up this video real quick so we can review this video because I got questions. I got questions. And I thought it would be interesting for us to go over. I thought it would be interesting for us to go over together. You said, why would she do this? I don't know. I don't know. I have to look at her chart and then I have to pull up her I have to pull up her perfections. I got to look at so much as it comes to one Miss Beyonce. So I got to look and see, I got to look over everything. I got to look over everything. Her annual perfections. I got to see where these eclipses were hitting her and, what houses these eclipses were hitting her. Okay. But yes. So I will be doing that at some point. Probably Probably Tuesday. Yeah, probably Tuesday, because Mr. Hoodoo's birthday is Monday, so I will be spending Monday with Mr. Hoodoo. Um, but yeah, probably on Tuesday. Because yeah, so for whatever reason she shared this information. I don't know, but I'm gonna do like everybody else. I'm gonna look at this chart. She gave us the information. We're gonna look at this chart. But let me pull up this video where someone was asking, what is this, a death cult? Is Christianity a death cult? So let me pull this video up. The video is only 20 minutes. I have not watched it myself. Um, but I'm gonna pull this up and we're gonna look at it together. And there's gonna be some commentary together. So let me pause this. Like I said, it just came across my timeline. I don't know why. But things usually just come across your timeline on YouTube. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So let me just share the screen and we're gonna get into this video. Window. Okay. And this is from Mr. Durante Lamar. Durante Lamar, I am just using your video for educational and commentary purposes, fair use. Okay. Let me bring this in. Let me bring this in for us so we can watch together. All right. So this is the video. And the name of it is Why Christianity Checks Every Box of a Death Cult. And you were raised in this. So let's see what this gentleman has to say.
America isn't hiding in the woods. What if I told you that the most dangerous cult in America isn't hiding in the woods? It's hiding in plain sight, and most of us were raised in it. What if Christianity isn't just a religion, but the most normalized death cult in America? Think of scriptures such as to live as...
Listen, he came out the gate hot. My man's just came out the gate hot with this. So, hey, fuzzy girl. My man's just came out the gate hot with this. He said this is probably the most normalized, death cult energy, and so many people were raised in it. So we're about to get into it.
Christ, to die is gain. Christianity has an obsession with death, not just with what happens after we die, not just with the image of a man tortured on a cross, but with the belief that death is the answer to pain, to injustice, to identity, to meaning. For a lot of us, especially in Black communities, that belief was fed to us as love. It showed up in our funerals, our worship, our prayers, and our parenting. We didn't question it because it was everywhere, because we were taught that suffering was holy and this life wasn't our home. But what if we've been trained to worship suffering, to fear critical thinking, to long for an end instead of building a bridge to better? And what if that obsession with death, not just in fringe cults, but in mainstream Christianity, has quietly prepared generations of people to accept violence as righteousness, authoritarianism as order, and Christian nationalism as a holy mission? I'm not here.
My man is saying a whole word already. We are 1 minute and 14 seconds into this, and my man's has a whole word. This is a whole word right here. This is a whole word. So, ooh-wee. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I am not here to suffer. You are not here to suffer. Suffering is not divine. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear it. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going, honey.
To attack your grandma's faith. I'm here to name what's hurting us. Because until we confront the death cult at the heart of American Christianity, we will keep feeding generations into systems that rob them of joy, purpose, and power. all in the name of salvation. So let's talk about it plainly, carefully, and without flinching. What exactly is a death cult? So let's ground this conversation. A death cult is usually defined as a group, religious, spiritual, ideological, or even political, that centers its beliefs, rituals, or identity around death, dying, or sacrifice. It's not just that they believe in an afterlife or that they talk about death, it's how they glorify it. They make it sacred, they make it necessary. Sometimes they even make it a requirement. In death cults, suffering becomes salvation. Martyrdom is the goal. In life, this life, it's just something to get through or escape from or sacrifice for something greater. The leaders are often charismatic, demanding absolute loyalty, and they control who lives, who dies, and who's considered pure, authentic, or truly loyal. And most death cults believe the world is ending anyway, so why bother fixing anything? Why build? Why heal? Why protect the planet or democracy or each other for that matter, if destruction is inevitable and holy? When you hear it like that, it's easy to think of the obvious: Jonestown, Heaven's Gates, the Branch Davidians. But I want to challenge you to consider something deeper. What if mainstream American Christianity has been operating under these exact same patterns, just with better branding? So let's look at the characteristics of a death cult and ask ourselves honestly, how many of these match the faith we were taught to defend? There are 7 characteristics of a death cult that I want to point out here and how Christianity mirrors them. There's the glorification of death. In a death cult, death isn't just a fact of life, it's the goal. It's sacred, it's celebrated, it's the ultimate win. Sound familiar? Again, to live is Christ, to die is gain. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. Jesus died for you. What are you willing to die for? In Christianity, death isn't just the end of life, it's the gateway to glory. And the message is clear. Earth is corrupt. The body is sinful. The afterlife is everything. That glorification seeps into everything, from funerals that feel like praise parties to songs that beg Jesus to take us home. There's also an obsession with the afterlife or ultimate sacrifice. Death cults often obsess over what happens next, the reward, the paradise, the cosmic payoff, and they elevate sacrifice as the highest form of love. In Christianity, it's almost impossible to separate belief from afterlife obsession. Heaven is the goal, hell is the threat, salvation is the contract that preserves the afterlife experience. And dying for the gospel is the badge of honor. This is why martyrs are canonized, while people who choose life, peace, pleasure, presence are often viewed as weak, worldly, or lost. We're taught to look past life and focus on what comes after, while those lost people continue to press humanity forward. There's also the authoritarian or charismatic leadership. Death cults are usually led by someone who claims exclusive authority or access to truth and demands loyalty. In Christianity, we call them pastors, bishops, apostles, or even prophets. They say things like, touch not my anointed, or believe in the prophet, so shall you prosper. They say questioning leadership is rebellion. They tell you God speaks to them, and if you don't submit, you're out of alignment, you're out of purpose. And what happens to people who challenge that system? They're silenced, they're shunned, they're shamed. Sometimes
I'm tired of this damn submission shit. I really am. I'm tired of it. I am truly tired of it. But let's keep going.
Been called deceived, sometimes even blamed for the judgment that comes on the group. That's not spiritual covering, that's social control. But there's also the apocalyptic worldview. Death cults believe the world is going to end, and not only that, they welcome it. It's not just a prophecy, it's a hope for them, a cleansing fire, a divine reset. Christianity is built around this. We're living in the last days, they say. This world is not our home. Jesus is coming back soon, and this time with a sword. No more water, fire next time. And if the world's going to end anyway, then why care about justice? Why fight for climate solutions, public health, or human rights? That's how you end up with people cheering on destruction because they think it's all a part of God's plan. There's also isolation and indoctrination. In death cults, outsiders are enemies. Doubt is dangerous. Questions are threats. Be not unequally yoked. Avoid worldly wisdom. Lean not on your own understanding, says Scripture. Don't question God's ways, which is not in scripture, but the people of the book seem to say it a lot. Many Christians are taught to fear outsiders, suppress questions, and rely solely on doctrine. This is why so many people jump into my comments to warn others, don't listen to this man. Even family members are seen as dangerous if they don't believe. This isn't just spiritual protection, it's intellectual isolation. There's also the control over life and death decisions. In some cults, leaders decide who lives, who dies, who gets healed, and who gets shamed. In Christianity, that control often looks like teaching people not to seek therapy. Just pray about it. Demonizing medication, it's just a lack of faith. Shaming suicide victims, but then calling death gain. Telling people of the pride community that they're better off dead.
Listen. One thing that is for sure, that when you are inside whatever little hole of an echo chamber, for whatever reason, they just throw logic out the window. Right, Fuzzy. Right. You have a brain. You have reading abilities. You have the ability to reason, to think logically, to think critically, but you're just supposed to turn all of that off. You're supposed to turn all of it off and then sit there and get your ass beat by whoever it is, because this isn't, according to them, this isn't where you gonna be at. This isn't your home. No, Earth is my home. I live here on Earth. I live here in the physical. Okay, I live here in the third dimension. Okay. I do believe in the spiritual side, but you're not gonna piss on me and call it rain for the sake of submission. And we're not about to do that. We're not about to do that. Go to the doctor. Okay, go to the doctor. Okay. It was funny. I was talking to Nyla. Maybe it was a couple weeks back. And she said she was talking to someone, and the Bible doesn't teach science. Okay, honey. Go to the doctor. Let the medical professional see what's going on, honey. Go to the therapist. Go get yourself taken care of, honey. We're not gonna pray it away. Baby, you need to go do something here in the physical. Okay, go do something here in the physical. Okay.
Then affirmed. Let's not forget how many people have literally died because they followed Christian teachings that have told them to have faith instead of seeking real help. Rejection of the physical world.
I'm telling you, how many people are out here? We just gonna not go to the doctor. No, baby, go to the doctor. Go make an appointment, go to urgent care, go to the emergency room, go somewhere. Please go to the doctor. Okay. Go to the doctor. Okay. All right.
World is another major characteristic of death cults. Death cults often teach that the body is evil, the earth is temporary, and the material world is just a trap. Christianity has perfected this narrative. The flesh is weak. This life is but a vapor. Deny yourself. Crucify your flesh.
They be out here talking about the material world. Don't worry about the material world. And then they'll be the first one wearing a cross necklace. They will be the first person wearing a Christian cross necklace, which is the place of death for their God. For people to not be so worried about the material and the physical, they show let you know physically and materially that they're part of this group.
Store up treasures in heaven. Don't love the world or the things in it. And this one kind of gets me. And so I have to take a sidestep and go off script a little bit here. Of course, you cannot take it with you. Do not love the things of this world because you can't store them up in heaven. But what about the children that you brought in this world that you did not leave an inheritance for? That is the problem with that type of thinking. And that is how you produce generational poverty over and over again, by having people who consume everything they have with the understanding that I can't take it with me anyway. And who cares?
He said, y'all setting y'all kids up for poverty because y'all having these kids and you are not providing for them. You don't have life insurance. You ain't opened up NAN account for your child. Not NAN CD, not NAN money market account. Okay. You probably don't even have insurance to take them kids to the doctor. They be setting these kids up. Be setting them up for failure. Setting them up for failure. He just listen. I know people be in his comment section coming for him. I know they do. Because he's calling everybody's bullshit right now. And I'm here for it.
Cares about those kids that I brought into this world, back to regularly scheduled programming. So people are taught to detach from their bodies, ignore their needs, and endure suffering as proof of faith. The result? Generations of people who've never been taught how to enjoy life because they were raised to believe that joy, rest, and embodiment were distractions. When you lay it all out like that, it's hard to deny. Christianity, as many of us know it, checks every box of a death cult. And not just on the fringe, not just in some backwoods compound, but right there in your neighborhood church, right there in your children's Bible. So the question is, what has that done to us? Now I want to talk about how death cult doctrine reshaped our minds and our lives. Because let's be clear, this isn't just about theology, it's about the psychological and sociological damage that happens when a death cult belief system is normalized over generations, especially in Black communities where the church isn't just a spiritual hub, but is often seen as the cultural center, the authority, the tradition, the inheritance even. So when Christianity teaches us that life is temporary, that pain is divine, that joy is suspicious, that affects how we think, how we live, and what we believe we deserve. Here's what happens when you're exposed to that kind of doctrines for years or even decades.
Listen, I don't know about y'all, but he out here flipping tables with this one. I know they're pissed in the comment section. We gonna look at the comment section when he's done. I know they're pissed. I know they are pissed. Yes. You know, and it's just so funny because, you know, I've been seeing so many conversations online this past week and a half or whatnot. Everybody, you know, and people need and they're saying it. You know, I'll be over on Threads, minding everybody's business over on Threads. If you're not on Threads, get on Threads. It's the Twitter version of Instagram. I'll be over there on Threads, and they have to keep telling people, like, listen, do not apply your religious doctrines to everybody. Everybody is not Christian. Everybody is not Christian. Keep your shit to yourself. Mind your own business. Okay? Non-Christians are not threatened by what you say. Okay? And this shit has been normalized. It's normalized around the world. I saw someone saying that she was wearing her, I think she was like a Wiccan or something like that, and she was at work and she had her pentagram necklace on, and one of her coworkers reported her talking about they were fearful, and she went right back to HR and was like, I'm fearful of her shit. I'm fearful of her and that damn Christian cross that she wears. Everybody, the default is not Christianity. But this shit is so ingrained in everything. Like, I'd be pissed. That's what I'm saying. Like, for Easter, you know, for the holiday in which, you know, their death cult holiday with the eggs and the rabbits, like, department stores and grocery stores and shit are closed. Everybody is not Christian. Everybody is not Christian, but this shit it's everywhere, and it's annoying to me. But let's continue.
Dulls or disables critical thinking functionality through fear, control, and guilt. It devalues the ability to enjoy life. Joy becomes suspicious or sinful. Personal purpose is suppressed or externally defined. Emotional health is damaged by fear, shame, and emotional numbing. Connection to others is undermined by isolation and detachment, and your sense of self is often shattered or never allowed to form in the first place. This is why so many Christian women experience the sense of losing themselves in relationships. The truth is, they never actually formed their sense of self. And here's the thing, many of us have never known life outside of that framework. We were born into it. raised to believe that our suffering made us holy and our joy made us selfish. We were told that pleasure is dangerous, questioning is rebellion, and self-love is pride. We grew up learning how to pray, but never how to feel safe in our own bodies. We were trained to surrender, to obey.
Like, and I fully agree with you, Fuzzy. Like, one of the things that just always annoys me about this is just like, why can't you ask questions? You're supposed to ask questions. Like, the fact that they want people to walk around with their brains in their purses or in their book bags is beyond me. But this whole you're not supposed to question things. I have questions. Listen, I asked questions about church when I was young. I had to be like 9 or 10. I asked those questions when I was young because some of it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense. And I asked questions and, telling you that's just the way that it is. Don't question this, don't question it. I'm just like, no. I need to answer. If an answer doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't compute in my brain. That's just how I am. I don't know if I'm, if I'm on the spectrum. I might be on the spectrum. Like, I really think I'm on the spectrum, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being autistic. I really think I'm on the spectrum because certain shit just doesn't make sense to me. And if it doesn't make sense to me, if it doesn't compute, I just can't roll with it. I just can't. But one of the things that has always been, with my clients, right? I get a lot of clients and a lot of women, like 99%, 99.9% of my clientele is women. And I can't tell you how many times women, my women clients have come to me and they're just like, Q, I don't, they're trying to figure out how to reconcile with doing magic versus, going to hell. Right. Because they've been taught Christianity teaches you to live in fear of being punished, fear of questioning things, fear of if you don't do this, then you're going to end up like so and so. Right. And not only is it a death cult, it's a cult of fear. It's a cult of fear and it's a cult of oppression. Let's continue.
To endure, but never to think, choose, or heal. This is not just religious trauma, it's cultural conditioning, passed down like scripture, enforced like law, and normalized like tradition. And when we zoom out, we can start to see what this has done, not just to individuals, but to entire communities. And there has been a long-term cost in the Black community. This is where it gets personal, because it's one thing to talk about death cults in theory. It's another to look at what these beliefs have done to Black people for generations in a country already built on our exploitation. Christianity was not just handed to us, it was enforced, weaponized, first through the Bible in one hand, chains in the others, and later through songs, sermons, and Sunday schools that sanctified suffering and trained us to find peace in pain. Let's break down how this death.
He says songs, sermons, sanctified suffering. Come on with the alliteration. Come on. Come on. Come on with it. Come on with it. He cooking. He cooking. He cooking. I just want to know what is he cooking with? Is he cooking with peanut oil or is he cooking with Crisco? Because he's cooking right now. He's really cooking. So y'all let me know. Is he cooking with Crisco or is he cooking with peanut oil? Because my man's is definitely cooking right now.
Centered doctrine has played out in real life, especially across Black American communities. Critical thinking is often discouraged. Questioning doctrine equals rebellion against God. We were taught to fear knowledge, especially if it challenged the Bible, and that fear kills our curiosity before it can even bloom. Skepticism, that's a demon. Philosophy, that's worldly. Science, be careful or you will lose your religion. The impact of this is that generations of brilliant minds were trained to defend myths instead of dismantling systems. We taught apologetics before we ever learned actual history. And this is how you get into the glorification of suffering. In so many Black churches, suffering is spiritualized. Poverty, that's a test. Trauma, that's your cross to bear. Depression, baby, just pray harder. We've been taught to romanticize.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not just gonna pray about it. Listen, I'm so glad I don't have children. I'm so glad I don't have children, right? Because, baby, if something would happen to one of my kids, I listen. Everybody would catch the fade. Everybody would catch the fade. Okay, I'm sorry. We not gonna pray about why Uncle James or Aunt Millie or whoever it is out here molesting kids. We not gonna pray about it, and I'm not sweeping shit under the rug. Okay, living without adequate housing, without food, without medical care, without water. These are human rights. Human rights. And we not just gonna throw our hands up and pray. We just not gonna do that. This is some sick shit that they want people to endure and believe. I ain't enduring no pain, but I ain't enduring that. The only pain that I endured that I wanted to endure was when I got my tattoos. Amen. Yeah, I laid there so she can tattoo me. I laid there for 3 hours. That was the only pain that I asked for, that I wanted. Okay. You're not about to play in my face.
The grind, spiritualize the pain, and call it faith. This becomes a cultural script. Healing feels like rebellion, therapy feels like weakness, and joy feels like disobedience. This leads to deferred liberation. Heaven becomes the answer to injustice, not reparations, not revolution, just endurance. We were told freedom would come later, in the sweet by and by. So instead of building systems that liberate us, we've spent generations building choirs and waiting rooms. Generations delay or abandon the fight for tangible material liberation because they've been trained to wait. Revolution gets replaced with revival. This also has an impact on identity formation. When you're told you were born in sin, that your flesh is wicked, and that your body is a battleground, how do you even learn to love yourself, especially in a racist society?
You know what? Listen. How is a baby born in sin? It's a baby. How is a baby born in sin? Y'all, some of these people just believe anything. Born in sin? No. Baby is completely innocent. Talking about some born in sin. So what did the baby do to what did the baby do to be sinful? Baby ain't did nothing, but probably gave his or her mom some heartburn when she was pregnant, or made her eat a bunch of tacos, or moved her organs around when she was pregnant. What did the baby do to be born in sin? No one can answer that question.
Society that already tells you you're worthless. Now your religion says it too. Our children grow up never knowing what it means to feel whole. They don't know their worth unless it's filtered through obedience, shame, sacrifice, or somebody else's salvation. These aren't just theological side effects. These are cultural consequences. They shape how we live, how we dream, how we organize, and what we believe is even possible. And the truth is, we've seen this pattern before. When people internalize a theology of death, it doesn't.
And not only are they telling, you're born into sin, he's right. They're telling you that you aren't shit without somebody else, that you are not complete unless you serve, bend down, bow to their sky daddy. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Just stay in their minds or their pews or their pulpits. Eventually, it becomes the politics of the day. By now, it should be clear. Christianity, as many of us inherited it, doesn't just center death, It glorifies suffering, demands submission, suppresses thoughts, and waits for the world to end. But when that kind of belief system gains political power, it doesn't just stay in the church, it becomes law, it becomes policy, it becomes violence in God's name. That's how Christian nationalism was born, not as a corruption of Christianity, but as its natural evolution in a society built on racial hierarchy, patriarchy, and religious domination. Let's break down exactly how death cult doctrine laid the groundwork for the rise of nationalism. Death cult doctrine creates a martyr mindset. Take up your cross. Be willing to die for the gospel. Persecution is proof that you're righteous. Those aren't just metaphors, they're dog whistles that create a worldview where opposition equals validation. So when people push back on harmful ideas like banning books, erasing queer people, or forcing childbirth, Christian nationalists don't see that as accountability. They see it as proof that they're chosen. This is how they frame dominance as defense. Every resistance is persecution. Every pushback is spiritual war, and that war justifies real violence. Anti-life theology makes a...
Of course, pushback and intellectual arguments feel like war when you do not use your brain. When you turn your brain off, okay, and take it out of your head and, sit it on the table or, put it in the closet for safekeeping, of course, intellectual arguments with historical facts and things like that feels like pushback. It feels like war. Absolutely it does.
Authoritarianism seems righteous. Mainstream Christianity teaches that humans are depraved, the world is evil, and only God and his appointed can rule justly. So the idea of a democracy or consent or even nuance, that's seen as soft, corrupt, or chaotic. Christian nationalists don't want freedom. They want control.
Yes.
They want order. And that order comes from God's law, not the people. That's how you end up.
This is why they're so, and this shit is dangerous too, right? They're so worried about, these people, they're always worried about submission, right? These dusties and the pygmies who empower them. They're also worried about submission. This is about power. This is about power and control. And when you buck their system, when you bring logic, facts, intellectual thinking, deductive reasoning, when you bring all of those to the table, to the conversation, right, they want to get rid of you because you cannot be controlled if you are calling them on their bullshit. And if you can't be controlled, then maybe other people can't be controlled. This is about control. And a lot of times they do control through fear mongering, because, everything is a demon to them. And, you're going to go to hell if you don't do what they say, which is control. So not only is this a death cult, this is about control and this is about oppression.
With people calling dictators anointed. That's how you excuse cruelty as divine discipline. And that's how a country can start to look like a theocracy in a business suit. End times thinking justifies destruction. They say things like Jesus is coming back any day now. The world is going to burn. It's going to get worse before it gets better. These beliefs create a fatalistic mindset where the world is supposed to fall apart and there's no need to stop it. Climate change, part of prophecy. Civil war, God's purging the wicked. Voting rights, God's judgment on a rebellious nation. Christian nationalism thrives in this mindset because it gives people permission to abandon justice, ignore suffering, and embrace collapse. Furthermore, the glorification of the cross makes sacrifice seem noble, even when it's violent. Christianity teaches that God demanded blood, that suffering redeems, that pain.
And you know what? Not only that. Listen, just because someone died for something, don't mean that you're supposed to. Okay? And furthermore, how is an all-powerful being dying? How is an all-powerful being dying You're either immortal and there forever, or you not. Which one is it? Which one is it? Because only things that have finite point of life die. So either their God is immortal and there forever and it has always been there, or not. See, these are the type of questions that I used to ask. And they used to tell me, be quiet. They were like, Q, don't stop asking these questions. I'm just like, but I just have a question. I'm not supposed to ask questions. This is why they didn't like me. This is why they didn't like me. Okay. I just want to know. I just want to know how many black people still got white Jesus up there. Now here is some cognitive dissonance for your ass. If the hair is like wool, right? All curly and your skin is bronze. I'm sorry. White Jesus and bronze Jesus from their own book are two different people. But I just want to know why they be still having white Jesus up there on the wall. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. The old school grandmamas and stuff. They had white Jesus either, on the wall in the living room, okay, over the couches covered in plastic, or in the dining room, okay, on the dining room wall, next to the china cabinet. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They be out here playing themselves. Y'all not even reading the shit that you supposedly follow. But I digress. Let's continue.
Is holy if it's for the right cause. That belief trains people to see violence as sacred if it's done in the name of purity, order, or truth. This is how laws that harm real people, queer folk, black folk, women folk, immigrants, non-believers, this is how they get framed as love. The cross stops being a symbol of compassion and becomes a badge of moral superiority. And then you get to this place where loyalty to doctrine is considered greater than empathy for people, where you say things like God is love, but he'll send your ass to hell. Loving someone means correcting their sin. Truth matters more than your feelings. Christianity often teaches ideological loyalty over human flourishing. That's how Christian nationalists can deny trans people care, take away bodily autonomy, erase entire identities, and still feel like they're loving people. Because in their minds, loyalty to doctrine is compassion, and empathy becomes a threat. These words have literally been said. So they begin using language such as we're under attack for our faith. We need God's law to control people. We're justified in destroying systems. They're doomed. Cleansing the nation is holy work. God's truth matters more than your feelings or your rights. I
just want to know how many people going to be held up in church tomorrow. Okay? Because we saw Marvin Sapp say close the doors until he get his 40, right? Marvin Sapp said close the doors until he get his 40. I want to know how many people going to be held hostage. Who going to be held hostage tomorrow? Okay? Because listen, there would be no way that I would be giving away my rent or mortgage money, putting my family in jeopardy. Like, no. Ain't no way. There is no way. There is no way. No way. Absolutely not. So yeah, if y'all see somebody tomorrow that reports that they were held hostage until the entire church tithe, if y'all see any of that tomorrow, make sure you tag me or send me the video so we can review that dumb shit.
All of the monstrosities committed by Christianity, how do we not realize that biblical doctrine is literally the makings of a monster 101? So no, Christian nationalism isn't some new extremist movement. It's the logical outcome of centuries of death-obsessed theology, authoritarian teaching, and apocalyptic indoctrination. It's not a political hijacking. It's the social consequence of tolerating death doctrines. So I want to ask this question: what could be gained if we let go? If everything I've said so far feels heavy, it's because it is. We've inherited a theology that taught us to romanticize pain, worship obedience, fear our own questions, and wait for heaven while the world falls apart. But what if we let that go? What if we stop calling death a reward, stop calling silence obedience, stop calling trauma God's will, and just started living? Imagine if all of the energy we've spent waiting for Jesus, glorifying suffering, and defending the Bible was rerouted into something that actually helped people heal. What could we build instead? Perhaps cooperative businesses that prioritize people over politics. Maybe community-based education that values curiosity over conformity. Or maybe even ethical frameworks rooted in compassion, not commandments. Maybe joy-centered spaces that celebrate life, art, and rest. Therapy and body work that helps us process generations of grief. And maybe we get to the place where we elevate critical thinkers over charismatic performers. Maybe we get to a place where our children are safe to ask real questions, even ones that seem dangerous. We don't even know what our communities are capable of because so much of our collective imagination has been outsourced to the sky. But the truth is, we are here.
Not outsourced to the sky.
We matter. And we don't need a death cult to tell us that. We need a new imagination, one that honors this life, one that celebrates this body, one that sees joy, justice, and curiosity as sacred. It's not enough to leave the church. We have to leave the theology that told us we weren't worthy of life by design. So let's stop pretending this is just about faith. Let's stop pretending this is just about heaven. Let's stop pretending that this is just about church. This is about a belief system that taught people to glorify death, fear freedom, and submit to power, all in the name of God. It's about a doctrine that told enslaved people to wait for heaven and told their descendants that suffering makes them holy, while building entire systems that depend on them never getting up. It's about how the same theology that taught us to love the cross now justifies the flag, and how a death-obsessed religion has become the emotional engine of American domination. That's why this matters, because Christian nationalism didn't hijack Christianity. It's the inevitable outcome of death cult doctrine played out in politics, policies, and pulpits. And the only way to stop it is to confront the theology that gave it permission. So if you grew up in this system, you're not crazy for feeling like something was off. You're not wrong for questioning it. You're not bitter. You're not even broken. You're finally seeing it for what it is. The church taught us how to die. Now we get to learn how to live, not in fear, not in guilt, not in silence, but in truth, with our minds intact, our bodies whole, and our futures back in our hands. I hope you've gotten some value from this conversation.
Well, that was a whole read. That was a whole read, yes. And they be out here talking about slavery, God's word, and God allowed the slaves and all like that. Let me tell y'all something. Some of these same people out here talking about they fighting the white man. How you gonna be fighting the white man with the white man's Christian nationalism and shit? Well, the white man's is, but you still trying to do what the white man's is doing. But anywho, he has this video here. If you see it on the left at the bottom, letting go of faith, fear, and control. There's an ex-pastor call-in show. Baby, we're gonna have to review that one. We're gonna have to review the ex-pastor call-in show. Baby, we'll review that another day. But I just wanted to come here and spend a little time with you all. You know, our girl Lala, I think she's about to go live. So, you know, oh no, our girl Lala is going live at 4 o'clock. But yeah, baby, this right here, this was a whole read. This was an entire read. And, you know, I just don't know what to, you know, listen, I've had so many questions. And you're not about to try and hit me over the head and tell me to submit to something that y'all say that people who enslaved Africans used on you. What type of sense does it make to follow the same doctrine that humans who enslaved other humans use? That makes no sense. But it only makes sense if you're out here trying to control people. That's the only way that it makes sense. That's the only way that it makes sense. If you want to control, same thing with these Dusties. They want to control. The only men out here running around talking about submit to me are men who don't control anything in their personal lives. They getting their ass beat at work. They're not living the lives that they want to. They're not making the money that they want to. So they want to go and oppress someone else. Okay? People who don't even control their own lives, they want to try to control other people. They want to control other people. That's the only time you see that submission shit. It's the only time you see it. But it's about brainwashing and control. That's all it is. And when you don't agree with them, you become the enemy, and then they feel like they're okay to attack you. If you are afraid of ideals, if you're afraid of thought processes, if you are afraid of having conversations that, may change the way that you think, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And I think that personally, a lot of Christians don't want to have certain conversations with non-Christians because they will be afraid to find out that what they were doing and believing in was a lie and that they have been fooled for most of their lives. I think that's what the main issue is. Because understanding that there aren't answers to certain questions will let you know that something doesn't make sense and that you're a dummy for following things that don't make sense. I really feel like some of them don't want to have conversations because they're afraid of finding out that they've been fooled for so long. Okay? I saw someone on Threads, I think it was the other day, and I almost blocked her, but I didn't. Because listen, the way I don't have patience for stupid shit. So I just block people who are saying stupid shit. So there was someone, this woman, and she was saying, for people to state practices that their family members have been doing that's hoodoo, but they think it's Christian. And so people were saying, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that, ladies, we know we don't sit our purses on the floor, right? We know that you don't let people sweep over your feet. You don't have a bunch of people braiding and doing your hair at the same time. Ladies, you know what I'm saying? All the different things that growing up families were doing, they didn't know was spiritual work, magical work. And then this one lady jumped into the conversation and said that hoodoo is it's a gateway to evil because it's masquerading as Christianity. Baby, y'all think too much of y'all Christianity. Y'all think too highly of it. No one even be thinking about y'all. Be thinking about y'all. She's gonna be here on YouTube. She'll be here. She'll be here on YouTube. Matter of fact, let me grab the link. Let me grab the link and I will put it so you all can see where she's going to be at. But no, she's going to be live on her channel. Our girl Alaa will be live on her channel. But yeah, of course someone had to come in and say that, it's just evil, it's just the devil, and y'all just be demons. Y'all be afraid of everything. People be talking about demons. Okay, what's the demon name? What's the demon name? How do you know it's a demon? What is the demon's name? And y'all remember I asked y'all that like almost 2 years ago. Like, why do y'all call everything a damn demon? Like, why? This is what is taught. This is what is taught by Christianity and the death cult. That everything is a damn demon. And I'm just like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, but they say that to put fear into you. Oh shit. No, I don't want to do that. Let me share this. I don't think I can move over to her channel. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Be calling everything a damn demon. Be calling everything a damn demon. But it's said to keep people in a state of fear. Okay, don't do this because it's a demon. It's demonic. Okay. Okay, sure. Okay, sure. Because none of them, I bet all of them went to go see the Avengers, right? They went to go see the Avengers with Thor and Loki. Okay, other gods from another spiritual system. Well, none of them out there, at their picket lines talking about Avengers is evil and demonic. None of them were. None of them were. But yeah, just understanding the control aspects. Religion is a way to keep people controlled. And they want docile people who don't think to just fall in line so that there is no pushback whatsoever. Okay? Okay? But yeah, so, that was interesting. And I'm glad that he said it. And I can't wait for us to get into this damn pastor call in. I can't wait for us to get to the pastor call in. Because baby, that's gonna be the one. That's gonna be the one for us to definitely watch. That's gonna be the one for us to watch. It's gonna be an hour and 45 minutes long, but we definitely gonna have to watch that one. We definitely gonna have to watch that one. We definitely gonna have to watch that one. We definitely will have to watch that one. But yeah, so I'm not gonna keep y'all long. I won't keep y'all long. But yeah, this whole, they be out here.
What if I told you that
They be out here just crazy as hell. And people be like, "Oh, Q, you just be saying stuff about the Christians all the time," because they the only ones who tell me I'm finna go to hell for what I do. I ain't had none other person from any other religion try and come for me. So if they leave me alone, then I won't come for them. Okay? If they leave me alone, I won't come for them. Let me try and find this video. I want to try and find this video of the Catholic Mass in Spain. It's a video that I just saw. And they were like dressed in all black doing this mass. And it really looked like it really looked like I'm gonna see if I can even pull it up. It really looked like some damn foolishness. But it looked like some witchcraft stuff. Which we know that a lot of Christianity is, pagan anyway. They don't want to tell nobody, but it really is. But it'd be funny to me. It'd be funny to me. It'd be funny to me. Let's see if I can pull this in if she posted the video. And Taurus season is tomorrow. Okay, Taurus season is tomorrow. And I can't wait. Taurus season is tomorrow. Yes. Because y'all know I'm a Pisces sun. And Venus is exalted in Pisces. Nope, I can't find the video. Venus is exalted in Pisces. And We know that Venus is a planet that rules Taurus. So, nope, I can't find a video. When I find a video, I'm going to show you all, or probably make a post out of it. So y'all can see this Catholic mass in Spain. It was actually so hilarious. Yeah, no, I can't. Where is this from? Yeah, I can't find it. When I find it, I'll put it in here to show you all. But yeah, so Fuzzy says, I'm out for my walk run and white people out here cutting their own grass. I've never seen that. Oh, they cutting their own grass, girl. Amen. About time they get some exercise. You know, they don't get no exercise. Natasha says, I'm Catholic and Constantine turned paganism into Catholicism so the people would know. Oh, yeah. Oh, girl. Now, you know, I know. You know, I know. Okay. Because a lot of Christmas as we know it now is Saturnalia, which is paganism. Okay. Okay. But I'm so glad they're getting them some fresh air. I'm so glad they're getting them some fresh air. I'm so glad they're getting themselves some fresh air and they're getting some steps in. If they work real hard, they could probably get like 5,000 steps in mowing their grass. But yeah, y'all. So yeah, I'm not gonna hold y'all. I just wanted to review that video with you all, and we did. I wanted to come and say hello because I hadn't been live for so long. I plan on going live again this upcoming week. We'll probably review that video with the ex-pastors speaking. And you know, we'll probably review Beyonce's good birth chart together, maybe live, maybe. But yeah, let's see what Fuzzy says. That's one more job they gained now that they do. I mean, yes, I'm so happy for them. I am so happy of them being in control of cutting grass. Okay, they get to save their money and do some hard work, right? They get to save their money and do some good hard labor. They get to save their money and do some good hard labor. Now, Q has never mowed a lawn a day in her life. Okay. Q never has. I've watered the grass before. I've watered the grass, but I've never cut grass a day in my life, and I don't plan on it. But yes, I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy that they got what they wanted. Okay. I'm so happy that they got what they wanted. So, like I said, I'm gonna let y'all go. Anybody have anything to say before I end this? I miss y'all. I miss being live with y'all. Okay, so yes. Okay, but I could tell that Fuzzy is having a good time laughing. I just know you laughing as you're walking around. I just know that you are a little chuckle to yourself. I know that you are, girl. I know that you are. Okay, y'all. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get out of here. I did put the link. I did put the link here. In there for where we're gonna be at 4 o'clock. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna see you all. I know you are. I know you are so tickled. I know you are right now. I know Fuzzy is right now. But yeah, like I said, I just want to come live with y'all and chill with y'all. I'll be back live later on this week. Since I'll have time. And I just want y'all to know I love y'all. And I'm gonna see y'all around these YouTube streets. And I can't wait to go over good sis Beyonce's chart with you all. Thank you, girl. Listen, when it came across my homepage on YouTube, I was just like, what are the spirits sending me? Okay, what are the spirits sending me? So, yeah, we're gonna review later on this week, y'all. And I'm gonna have like more recorded videos for you all. this past week. One last thing I wanted to say before I get out of here. They are mad at this Blue Origin space flight. They are pissed at this Blue Origin space. They are still talking about this Blue Origin space flight. They are pissed. But I always find it interesting how, whether you like those women that went on the space flight or not, how a lot of energy, a lot of hatred is directed towards women. Okay? That was not their rocket. That was not theirs. That was Jeff Bezos' rocket. Could they have said no and not go? Yes. That was Jeff Bezos' rocket. Because there is still a war on the divine feminine and women on this planet. Like I said, whether you like those particular women or not, they're still talking about those women like it's their company. They're not going for Jeff Bezos. So I found that very, very interesting. I'm just like, y'all have no smoke for this man, but y'all coming for these women. Y'all coming for Katy Perry. They coming for Gail. They coming for everybody, except for the man who owns the company sending people into space. Okay. But anyway, I mean, that's what rockets are. That's exactly what rockets are. That's what they are. Like I said, all the smoke for those women and this particular flight, but not any of the other flights before. Not any of the other flights, just this flight that would happen to be all women, but no smoke for the man whose company this is. I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to truly, truly think about that. Like I said, whether you like Katy Perry or Gail or any of them or not, it's smoke for them and not for him. So, all right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna see y'all over at our Girl Allies. Y'all be easy until I get back live with y'all later on in the week.